Hi, it's Justine. Can you hear me?
Hi, Justine.
Hello. Yes. Hopefully others can as well. I know that Becky Lamb from Need, thank you very much for giving us this platform and organizing us, and Jenna for sending out the invitation, and of course to Emma, who's going to share some thoughts with all of us. It's Justine Gentis from Exelon, and um, Becky's going to have us all on mute, but you can use the chat if you want to ask a question or make a comment or whatever, and Emma's going to be kind of watching that even as she's talking, because she's an expert multitasker, I know. And so I just wanted to welcome everybody. Thanks for joining us virtually. I know we're all getting used to this. We thought we loved being, on our phones and all that, and now that we're doing it all the time, I don't know, maybe the shine is off, I'm not sure, but thought that it might be fun, since we can't be getting together for STEM days and other things that we had planned, to try to do it this way. I suspect we've got kind of a combination of people on the line, with some people who maybe have attended the academies in the past. Some of you from Chicago or last summer in Philadelphia might know Emma already. She was at both of those. But also, we probably maybe have some parents on, I'm not sure, and we might have some students on who have applied to be part of this summer's academies, and are just looking to learn more. So I'm really going to turn this over to the wonderful Emma Mendes. We're so grateful that you're willing to be with us and make this possible. And Emma's going to talk a little bit about kind of what the Academy has meant to her, both ways in which she's participated, but also, give you guys some advice, all of us some advice, I think, on adapting to new places, going off to college, making those choices, and then, of course, coming home from college and trying to live online and still get everything done. So, Emma, I'm going to hand that over to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I hope you are doing well and staying healthy. Before I start, I kind of want to see how everyone's doing. If you can use the chat box and just put like one word to describe how you're feeling, how it's been like these past couple of weeks, that would be great, just so I can see how and gauge how everybody's doing today. Okay, okay, you're good. I'm happy to hear that. Great, yeah, we love to hear that. Good. I can relate to going crazy at home. Good. Okay, I'm very happy to hear that most people are doing really well being home. I know it's been really hard lately. So I first want to start off by saying thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come listen to me. I'm super excited about sharing my story and answering any questions you have about the STEM Academy, college, and what it's been like to adjust to this new normal. I want to make this as beneficial for you as possible, so please ask questions throughout the whole webinar. I know right now your microphones are off, but if any point you are confused about something or have a question, just please put a question in the chat box. I'll be monitoring it throughout the whole webinar, so if you have a question, feel free to ask it, and I'll try my best to answer it right away. If I don't take any offense to it. I just didn't see it. So today I'm hoping to talk about my experience in the STEM Academy, how it's helped me to get to where I am today, also about going to college, the choice that I made to go to the University of Michigan, what it's been like to adjust to a new way of living, what classes I took and taking right now, and the activities I'm in, and of course what it was like leaving campus and beginning an online class schedule due to COVID-19. But first, I want to give an introduction of who I am for those who don't know me. My name is Emma Mendes. I'm from Oklahoma, Illinois. I'm the oldest of 3 siblings and a turtle. Last year, I graduated from Mother Macaulay Liberal High School on the south side of Chicago. It was an all-girls school, and I really had a great experience. I was involved in theater, show choir, student ambassador, soccer, and volunteering. Right now, I'm a freshman at the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor, and I'm planning on majoring in chemistry, minoring in Spanish on a pre-med track. And right now, I'm involved in the Michigan's Health Science Scholar Program, Women's Glee Club, my dorm's multicultural board, and research. So I kind of want to first talk about my participation in the STEM Academy, which I was way before that. I was first a participant in ComEd's Icebox Derby, which was a program for young women in the South Side of Chicago, or not the South Side, but anywhere in Chicago, to participate. You were put into groups. You built a race car out of an old refrigerator, and my participation in that gave me the opportunity to then apply to Exelon STEM Academy. So at first I was kind of nervous about applying, which I bet if any of you applied or are going to apply, you're nervous about this. But it was an opportunity that I couldn't pass up. So I applied to it. I found out I was able to join. I first participated in the Chicago STEM Academy, and we stayed at IIT for a week. It was a great experience. I really loved it, every part of it. We went on field trips. We got to see a nuclear power plant. We got to go to the Museum of Science and Industry, which was my favorite part because we got to see the Pixar exhibit, which seeing that really showed that like everywhere in life, in any aspect or career, and like even in movies, you have to use STEM, and it's really important for young women, especially, to learn about the importance of STEM, which the STEM Academy did such a great job. It was really hard at first to hear about the lack of representation in the STEM field for women in particular because we're awesome, we're good at math, we're great at science and technology, but unfortunately there's not always a great awareness for it, especially for us. So this academy really brought to my attention how important it is for women to know about STEM and also participate and grow a passion for both STEM, women's rights, and diversity. So the Academy really did a great job and helped me build my passion for STEM and women's rights and diversity, which has influenced me to join certain clubs, including the multicultural board that I'm on. And right now, actually, in my women's glee club, I'm the diversity, equity, inclusion chair because of how I learned about diversity in the STEM Academy and how important it is in our society. But throughout the academy, I got to meet so many great people and young women, and it's really awesome spending a week with young women who are as passionate as you are in a subject. Being put with 60 other women and getting to know them and talk to them and learn about what their aspirations in life are and why they're interested in STEM. It just really gave me the confidence and the strength to know that I'm supported. I'm not going out into the STEM field alone. I have a great network of young women surrounding me and encouraging me and empowering me to go out into the world and become involved in the STEM field, even though it's kind of scary thinking about how little representation women have. But meeting all the women like on the field trips when we went to ComEd's facilities and we got to go to the nuclear power plant and meeting the women who work on there and telling you that yes, we're going to face challenges. You're going to sometimes you're going to be the only woman in your math classes or in your science classes, but you got to power through and know that there's people who are supporting you and that you're as intelligent as anyone else and you have the power to do anything that you put your mind to. And so another part of the STEM Academy that was one of my favorites was during one of the dinners, there was a panel of women CEOs and leaders and directors, and just seeing, like, I'm pretty sure there was 4 powerful women just sitting up there talking about how difficult it was to get where they are, but then their determination and their motivation to get there was just really inspiring. So learning about how even though you can come from such a difficult situation and that you may think that you're never going to get to where you are, but then seeing other people and women in particular as the directors and CEOs of companies that are influential throughout not even just our nation, but through the world, it's really empowering. And it was so great to be able to talk to these women, get to see them, have them come and talk to us. So I really hope that if you haven't applied for the STEM Academy, that you do, because it was great. It was great as a participant, and then last summer I was also lucky enough to become a mentor, and seeing it from the outside was just an amazing experience as well. I was a mentor in Philadelphia for the week, and I got to see these young women who come in, and if you participated, you know how nervous you were that first week, and you have your schedule and you see the first thing, oh, we have to go into the room and start doing all these activities, and I don't know anyone. So you know how nerve-wracking it is at first. But I got to see from the outside these young women who are juniors and seniors in high school, and they come in as nervous as they are, and throughout the week, they grow in confidence, they grow in strength, they grow in communication, and they gain all these skills to not only present their presentations, but then you got to see their love for STEM just grow, and they have a passion, and that's going to influence them to go out into the world and become what they want to be. And I think, and that was such a great experience, not only being in their shoes at one point, but then getting to see from the outside how amazing it was that these young women grow. And then Justine just asked, what did you learn about how to mentor? So during the academy, I got to learn so many leadership skills that have allowed me to gain leadership positions, not only in high school, but now in college. Some of the skills I've learned was communication and learning to lead, but also listen and become a team member as well as a leader. And sometimes that's really hard to do when you're given the, leadership position that you think you're overarching, but when you're working as a team and you're really able to grow as a person yourself. So I learned skills of communication, teamwork, cooperation, and collaboration that really has helped me in not only being a leader in certain clubs, but in just everyday life, and just knowing that you can inspire people and influence them, and that you have the power to help people become who they want to become. That is some of the best confidence boosters you could ever get, is just knowing that you have the power to inspire somebody and lead them to grow a passion in something that you're also passionate is just, it's almost mind-blowing that knowing that you have the power inside of you to do that. And I love my experience as a mentor, getting to know the young women in the academy this past summer was just amazing. They were all so awesome. They all brought different stories and different perspectives, and I loved every second of it. So, did the program help you express yourself more and come out of your shell more? So I would say yes, which that says a lot because throughout my whole life I've been, I would say, a very independent, confident young woman. Being able to go to an all-girls high school was definitely something that gave me more confidence in, because I was sitting in classes with all women and all my science classes, all my math classes, which is not very common, especially as I took science and math classes in college so far. And then all of our leadership positions throughout the whole high school were occupied by women. So I was very fortunate enough to gain confidence through the empowerment that I felt through my peers in high school. But also, the STEM Academy gave me a different confidence that I couldn't get in high school. It really pushed me in to explore the outside world. It went from, in high school where you have like this environment that you're in and it's like your little own environment. But then in the academy, you're really exposed to the realities of our world, especially, lack of representation of women in the STEM field, and like how hard it is working in that certain environment. So by being thrown in, well, not thrown, but like when you're in the academy and you're exposed to this environment that you're not necessarily aware of, it really pushes you to start exploring for yourself. And being surrounded by all women in the academy and then getting to meet influential women, it was really helpful for me to then gain the confidence I needed to go out and take the first steps I needed to talk to some of the women that came in. And so I would say yes, that this academy and this program really helped me move out of my shell, because although I was, I would say, independent, this academy really pushed me and encouraged me to make the most out of it. And that's what I would definitely suggest for any of you who are applying for the academy, make the academy the most by putting in the most that you can, because what you put in is what you get out. And I was really fortunate enough to realize I'm given this opportunity. There's so many people around me who I can form connections with and network and learn more about what I want to do later on in life. And I said, okay, I need to take the first step. I just need to go up and shake somebody's hand and talk to them and ask them questions. I know it sounds easy, and it was definitely hard in the moment, but being surrounded by the academy and the encouragement and the welcoming environment really told me to go out and do that. And I definitely suggest, so if you haven't applied, please apply. And if you are about to join the academy, make it the most, because you're given this opportunity that unfortunately a lot of young women don't necessarily get. So, and you're given it, so go out there. And if you think you want to talk to somebody and you see that there's an engineer from ComEd who came to talk and you're like, ooh, I'm kind of interested in engineering, go up and talk to them. They're very welcoming, they're excited, and they wouldn't be there if they didn't want to talk to you. So please make it the most that you can. And I'm going to stop right there to see if anybody has any more questions about the STEM Academy and leadership skills. Are they going to select all the people who applied for that? I don't think that they select all people. I know there's a lot of young women who apply. It is a competitive process, but I'm not very sure how their selection process goes. I wasn't on the inside of that. But also know that, like, if you don't get in now, you can also apply again. So definitely look out for that. But know that they're trying to accept as many young women as they possibly can. Okay. Do we have any more questions on the academy? Well, I kind of want to segue into how the academy has helped me in my college career. I definitely like the skills that I've learned again for collaboration. You definitely need to know how to work as a team. And in college, I didn't think that would be a very necessary skill, but it is. In my math class last semester, and I was doing homework all the time. So sorry, my camera just turned off. But yes, so the skills that I gained from the academy helped me later on in high school, and then also, sorry, my camera just turned off, but also helped me later with in college too, for teamwork, leadership, because in college you really are on your own and you have to make it for yourself. And the skills that I gained from the academy. Okay, I'm happy. Okay, I'm happy you can hear me. um, okay, looking at the questions. So on your question, if your teacher submitted references, can you provide an email address of another teacher? I am not very positive about that. And then for your question, is the program only 1 week or do we continue? So the academy is only 1 week, but Exelon does a great job of keeping the alumni and the other young women interested in STEM very active throughout the year. I know right now we can't be too active because of what's happening in the world, but there are things called STEM days where I know in Chicago, Philadelphia, and Maryland, they have these days where all the alumni or the past or future participants can join, and there's a day where you can go to a different place. I went to the Shed Aquarium in downtown Chicago. That was a great experience. I got to dissect a squid, learn about the engineering behind the whole system. It was really interesting. And then I know there was one at Brookfield Zoo, and I also went to the Fermi lab where we got to learn about the lab, what they're researching, how it functions, and that was a really awesome experience. Do you have any tips on strengthening your application? Does it help to have extracurricular activities? So, for strengthening your application, I think one of the best advice I can give you is be genuine and be yourself, because they're looking for young women who shine. And each one of you, I mean, I don't know you personally, but I know that you're all awesome. You all are involved in many different things. You're intelligent. You're really interested in STEM. So I would definitely be genuine, be who you are, be honest, really express why you're passionate about STEM, what you want to do later on in the future, and how the academy can help you with that. I know, if I remember correctly from my application, I talked about how in the future I want to be an anesthesiologist, and being in the STEM academy will help me gain the strength and skills that I need in order to become that, and learn how to become more confident, why the STEM field is so important for me, and why this academy will help me later on in life. And I think talking about your extracurricular activities would help too. If you're really interested in a certain aspect of STEM, you could talk about how you're really interested in one extracurricular activity, and that has built up your passion for STEM, and then you also although you learn certain skills in that activity, the STEM Academy can help you learn other skills. And then I saw there was another question. When did you know you wanted to study in the STEM field? I learned from a very early age that I wanted to be in the STEM field. I was very fortunate enough to be surrounded by strong women in my life. My grandma on my dad's side was a doctor, and then my grandma on my mom's side was an ER nurse. And so I got to see how awesome and what great women they were, and that really inspired me. My dad he has a major in biochemistry, and so everywhere we go, there was always something about chemistry and how that makes the world work, and I was just really interested learning about the science of everything. So I knew from early on I wanted to be a doctor. I didn't know exactly what kind of doctor, but I always knew I always had a passion for that. I always wanted to help people. And then as I grew older and I took certain classes, especially my sophomore year of high school, I took a chemistry class and I loved it. I was really interested in it. I really liked the labs. It was a lot different than any classes I've taken where, doing homework wasn't the worst thing. It was actually, I was okay with doing it. And I really enjoyed my chemistry class, which is now leading me to major in chemistry. And then, of course, my love for STEM grew as I participated in the Comet Icebox Derby and the STEM Academy. So during my high school career, when I did that, I really was like, I definitely seen myself in the STEM field. I definitely want to do this. I want to not only be in it, but I also want to influence other young women to come be a part of it too, because together we can really make a difference. There's a character count in each response. How do you recommend we fit everything in 250 characters? That's a great question. I am one to struggle with fitting everything in the recommended character count. I've always had, from my college application essay to scholarship essays, but I know what I do is I write everything that's on my mind out. I look at the count, I'm like, wow, I'm over like 200 words. Then I reread it, and then I think, okay, this isn't really connecting to what I want to say. So then I go back, I start deleting things, and I kind of shape it, and I kind of keep a theme in mind of what I want to talk about, and then I make sure it's under the characters or right to the max. I know it's really hard. I still struggle with it, and I know you, as I said, you all are awesome young women, and you have so much to say, but definitely be careful with your character count, and I would say just reread it a couple times, and reread it, have somebody else reread it, and say, maybe you don't need this right here. Do you know when? Oh, okay. Do you feel that the Icebox Derby helped you prepare for the Academy? I would say it did, in a sense where I understood some of the aspects of the Academy, especially like influencing young women and why we need academies like this throughout our country, and we need to start bringing awareness to young women in the STEM field. But I would say you don't need any outside skills like the Icebox Derby to prepare you for the Academy. It's not like you're not going to take classes and there's tests or anything. It's you get to learn about, I know it depends mostly on the theme. I know in Philadelphia last summer, the theme was climate change. So we got to learn about how energy and conservation of energy affects climate change and how we need to work together to fix the damage. And so I was not very aware, especially the first time I was in the academy when I was a participant, of all the aspects of energy that you'll learn. But you don't need to have any background knowledge in order to participate. The academy does a great job to really help you understand what either when you're talking about energy or the little quote unquote labs that you do, which are little fun activities to explain the information that they're giving to you so you have a better understanding of it. So I would say you really don't need too much background knowledge for the academy. Okay. What was tough about going to college? Did you feel lost? How did you find your place? That's a great question. And so moving on to my college career. So I first saw the University of Michigan when I think it was towards the end of my sophomore year. I'm not gonna lie, I saw it on a weekend where school wasn't in. I was like, it's okay, it's a fine university. It wasn't until I participated in my junior year in the University of Michigan's Martin Luther King Jr. Symposium, which it was a weekend. I got to stay over one night. I got to shadow one of the freshmen there, and I fell in love with it. I loved the campus. I loved watching like the students, how happy they were in their groups. And so every time I would go visit another university, I kept comparing it to Michigan, and I realized, oh, this is the university I want, especially because I think Michigan is going to be the best foundation for me, for my future, giving me opportunities in STEM and also in the medical field. But I would say the adjustment, so I always thought that adjusting to college was not going to be hard for me because, as I said, I was an independent, I was definitely a very independent, confident going in. I heard that college, like my high school, really prepared you and everything was going to be great. Your first year was going to be a breeze. It was not a breeze. Adjusting to college is hard. It's a new way of life that you have to get used to. And as I learned, there's something called imposter syndrome, and this means that you feel like you don't belong where you are. Unfortunately, I felt this way at the beginning of my school year because I was in a Calculus 1 class, and the way the class was taught was a lot different than my AP Calculus class I took senior year. And like I briefly mentioned that we had team homework, so I was working with a team. There was one of the participants that really felt like they knew everything and made me feel really, really bad about my math skills, that I couldn't do this, that I don't belong here. Like, so everybody's smarter than me. I should just go to a different university. But it wasn't until it took some time to remember that I am a strong young woman. I've gained so many skills through high school, the STEM Academy, the Icebox Derby, and I can't let one person bring me down because there's going to be so many people throughout my career choice that are going to bring you down. You're going to face people who are going to tell you, oh, you're not good enough, or especially I get this all the time, like, oh, like you want to go into the medical field, that's 4 extra years of college. for in the med school, how are you going to have a family? Like, you can't do everything. And there's so many people who are going to tell you that. And you just have to remember who you are and your confidence. And you need to know that you can do anything that you set your mind to. And as I said, the STEM Academy was a great place to learn that. And especially seeing all the strong, empowering women there and who told you about that. And you hear a lot of stories about women in the STEM field going to college, and they're in classes with only male peers, and it's scary, it's nerve-wracking, and it makes you think twice about your skills and your intelligence. But you have to remember that yes, it's going to be hard. It's not supposed to be easy. It's college, and you have to really push yourself, and you're going to be challenged and you're going to face imposter syndrome, but you have to remember you're here for a reason. And I was fortunate enough to get into Michigan, and I know that I got in for a reason. I know that I was supposed to be there. I chose that because I felt like that was the most place, like a second home to me. So it was definitely tough being in that situation, but then when I also learned so many people, even like some of my friends, were feeling the same way. They feel like imposters there because it's a new environment and you don't get adjusted fully right away. And another thing that I felt kind of lost about was I didn't know anybody going into Michigan. I decided I wanted to go to a college where nobody that I really knew was going. I wanted to, be independent, make my own life, make new friends, and it was all like great. My orientation, which I had in June, was so fun. I loved it. Then coming back, everybody has this fear of going into college that they won't make friends right away. And I know a couple like schools have their Greek life rushing right away, so you're able to make friends, or you're in sports, and there's different ways where you can meet friends right away. But I had a really hard time making a new group of friends because I didn't know anybody, and there's a lot of people who go to University of Michigan who are from Michigan, so they all went to the same high schools or grammar schools, and they already had their like little cliques. So at first it was really difficult for me to socialize. That also contributed to my imposter syndrome. But then I remembered that, well, I was fortunate enough that I was in the health science scholar program, where I was in a program with 120 other people who were living in my dorms. They were all first years. So it took some time, but I was able to make a really good group of friends, and I'm still talking to them today, and I'm really fortunate that I got to meet them. And although at first, in the first semester, it seemed like I don't have any friends, I'm focusing all on my studying right now because classes are hard, I'm still adjusting to my way of life. I think the best advice I can give you is don't give up. Everything works out in the end. Really, I know sometimes it seems scary. I was really nervous. I was like, I don't know if I could see my next 4 lives here, like 4 years of my life here. But then I remembered, I have such a great foundation, and I have skills and strengths, and I have a great network that was a majority of it is from the STEM academies. And I have so many people supporting me, whether or not I know this right now, and I can't give up. I worked really hard, and I'm not going to give up. And so it was definitely tough. It was a tough adjustment. I felt lost, but after, a couple months of learning how to organize myself, dealing with my classes, figuring out when to do certain homeworks, how to study for exams, that was when I finally found my place. I found a great group of friends who I would study with, and they were in my program, so they were always in my building. We went to basketball games together, and so I definitely found my place, and I love Michigan right now. It feels like my home. I miss it, and I can't wait to go back there in the fall. How different do you think college is from high school based on the benefits STEM has given you? I would say that it is very different based on the benefits. STEM has given me. High school, it was kind of easy adjustment because I knew a lot of girls who were at my high school from club sports and going to grammar school with them. So I felt like, but based on the benefits that STEM gave me and like the STEM Academy in general, I felt like I've grown into a mature, independent, strong, confident woman. And had high school been as hard of an adjustment as college has been, I would say that with my background in the STEM Academy and college would definitely be easier to adjust to if I is comparing to high school without the STEM background. Did you get along with your roommate? Are you friends? Me and my roommate and we're friends. We weren't best friends, but we got along. We, you know, we were very compatible. We worked together and we were friends. It wasn't a best friend relationship and it wasn't a hate relationship like the horror stories you hear about roommates. My roommate she was very nice. We talked now and then. We had some similar friends, but we hung. The first week was welcome week. We hung out a couple times, and it wasn't like the best friendship type of sparks, but we got along. We were fine. There was nothing to complain. We kept our room clean. We were very conscientious of each other. We asked each other, is it okay to have friends here and there? We made a roommate contract and we stuck with it, and we got along. So I was very fortunate with my roommate. I already know I have a different roommate next year who I'm closer friends with, and we'll be peer advisors next year together for my program, which is a peer mentor, which is another, for my application for that, I actually used my experience as a mentor in the STEM Academy to explain how I have the skills and leadership capabilities that are needed for being a peer mentor. Does Maryland have anything similar to the Icebox Derby? I am not sure about that. Actually, I hope that they do, but I'm not sure. And how different are STEM classes in college than in high school? For me, their college classes in general are a lot different than your high school classes because they're at such a faster pace and you don't go to them every single day. For me, one class that really sticks out in mind is my Calculus 1 class I took my first semester, which was definitely hard. It was a hard class, and in my adjustment period, I probably shouldn't have taken it right away. But I took AP Calculus my senior year of high school, and I felt very fine with it. I did really well in the class. And then going to college, I met twice a week for an hour and a half, and you learn your material really quickly. There's a lot of homework to it, and it was definitely different. And even for biology, it's a lot different based on like what you focus in, because I also took AP Bio, and it was a whole year of all the types of biology. There was molecular, genetics, evolutionary, ecology, but then in college you take separate classes based on different focuses. So my first semester for biology, I took ecology and evolutionary biology, and now I'm taking molecular and genetic biology. But I would say they're different in the pace. My classes are a lot harder, and exams are a lot. I would say if you took AP exams, they're kind of like that, where they're more conceptual types of questions rather than memorizing. You can't really. You need to memorize, but also know what's going on. For college exams, they're very conceptual based, so they test you on the material, but then knowing how to apply the material to certain situations. And then how has your college handled the COVID-19? So this is a great question that I was really not excited to talk to you, but it was a crazy experience. So I had my spring break, so I had a week off of school the end of February to the first week of March, which is super early compared to a lot of colleges, especially in Illinois. So I was off of spring break, and there was some talk about schools either closing down, going online for a little bit, but nothing was set. I came back that Monday. It was, I think, March 8th or 9th, and I came back and I was going to classes. And mind you, University of Michigan's a very big school. There's thousands of people, so there's always people walking around. It's always very lively. But when I got back from school, it was oddly quiet. There wasn't that many people walking around. I was just thought, okay, it's a Monday back from spring break. Probably some people were coming back on Tuesday. But even Tuesday, it was still oddly quiet. And I started to think, well, I think some people are starting to stay home because of the whole situation. And then it was Tuesday night. I was in my dorm. I was in a study room with my group of friends, and one of the RAs came in, and he goes, Thursday, Friday, no classes. Next week, we're online, bet. And I was kind of taken aback, like, wait, what? Like, there's no way that we're just going to completely go online. Like, I could see, or like have school off Thursday, Friday. That's kind of crazy. Like, I know some schools are closing down, but there's only been one case in Michigan, and I know that the case was at the hospital, which was on campus. So there was kind of some debate of it. And I was like, there's no way. He's crazy. Like, I don't see this going that far. But then Wednesday during my English class, the next day, my professor started asking us, well, how will you guys deal with an online situation? There's talk about it. Like, will you guys have Wi-Fi, or how are you guys going to accommodate? And I'm very fortunate where at my house, I have good Wi-Fi. And so I was like, I'll be okay. But then after that class, I went straight to office hours for chemistry, where I met with my chemistry GSI. And I walk in, and it's almost like little cubbies we're in a science center, and there was a group of GSIs all gathering. They were watching a video, and I think it was of the Michigan governor talking about what their plan is. And so I sit down, I start asking my chemistry questions, and my GSI comes in, and then all of a sudden, like a couple minutes go by, and he looks at his laptop, and there's an email saying, okay, we're off of school Thursday and Friday, and then we're online starting next week. And I was really taken aback. I was really shocked. It was crazy. Like, you saw that some people got the email, they were super excited. You saw that some people were scared. There were some people who were just like, they had no idea what was going on. They were just so surprised. And I definitely was more of the scared part, because a lot of my classes, I go to office hours, which are in person. I have meetings that are in person, and all that's just going to go away. I was so scared. I was like, how am I going to pass my classes without this? And so later that night, some of my friends started going home, and I was like, should I go home? Should I not go home? I have a cousin in Grand Rapids, which is about an hour or two away from Ann Arbor. So she was like, you can come stay with us. So it was a whole kind of crazy situation that I had no idea. People were leaving, people were celebrating, which was not a good idea. And it was crazy. It was like I was living a movie right now, and everybody was leave. It was chaos. But then after a while, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna wait Thursday and Friday, because that's the days that professors are gonna meet, figure out how they're gonna adjust online classes. And so I waited. They told us everything that was going on. My bio class right now records lectures. There's a chat. Our foundation of all my classes are on Canvas. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's where it's kind of like a Google Classroom, if you have that. And so they started posting lecture recordings. Exams are now online. And then for my my general chemistry class, it's also recorded lectures. My Gen Chem lab right now, they recorded videos of the lab taking place, and then we have to do our lab reports based on that. But their worksheets are not actual lab reports. They made it a little easier for us. My English class right now, because our majority of my class was just discussion about the books that we were reading. So every Monday and Wednesday we write blog posts about the chapters that we read, and then we have to comment on somebody else's. And then my healthcare class, we do a live lecture on Thursdays, and Tuesdays we do a team-based learning, because we had a team-based learning lab, which we did activities in a team with, but now we use Zoom, and we break out into sessions and talk to one another. And so all my classes have really made it pretty accommodating for everybody. They know that not everybody's in the best home situation. Some people can't even go home. And they have tried to help as best as they can. I know some people, I think, are still living on campus. They're still trying to get everybody off of campus. And it's actually right before I left, it was the dining hall was just it was crazy, because I live right next to the biggest dining hall on campus, and it's always super packed. Everybody's there, everybody's laughing, talking, there's so many people. And when I went in on Friday morning with two of my friends, it was dead. There was barely anybody in there. You couldn't give the person, you had to swipe your own card. You weren't allowed to take your own silverware. A worker was behind there with gloves giving you your silverware. You couldn't sit 3 to a booth. It had to be 2 or less. You had to sit like diagonal of your friends. So they were taking precautions right away. They definitely knew this was a serious situation. And then there was also talk of coming back for exams, because we thought, well, this should be over in a small amount of time. But then exams went online and finals went online, and so they were like, please, if you can, get out of the dorms. They gave us a refund for some of our housing, which was very nice. And overall, it wasn't that challenging to adjust to online classes. Again, it was kind of more of you have to learn how you're going to deal with this. And I know for me, Michigan is an hour ahead, so I have to make sure I'm aware of that. I kept my laptop in Michigan time, so I know like due times, and it's kind of complicated for exams, because I have to make sure, okay, like it's an hour ahead, so if it's at 6 p.m., it's 5 p.m. my time. And so that's definitely an adjustment too, is the timing and when I should wake up and do certain things. But I think the semester after my first semester, I really learned to organize myself, know what is best for me, how to fit in, my fun activities, but also know when I need to get my assignments done and work ahead to get ready for exams. So this semester I was definitely better at that, and I was able to make a good schedule for myself. And then when I came back home, I kept the same schedule, but I've kind of adjusted a little bit, because now I'm watching lectures, and I have to make sure to also keep some time for myself, because I know right now it's a really crazy situation. It's really stressful. You can go crazy with yourself. I've been really fortunate. I have 3 younger siblings, and my whole family's home, so I get that socializing. But I know for some people it's harder to keep your connections. But I really hope that you're all taking time for yourself. I like to go on walks when I can. Definitely sit down and FaceTime my friends, because I was at a point where my friends live in my dorm. We would study almost every night together, and so not seeing them, it's really hard. And I know for all of you who are in high school, you see your friends every day, and right now you can't even. I don't know. I know I'm pretty much locked in my house, so I can't see anybody. But even like standing 6 feet away from your friends is just it's a whole new way of life, and it's really crazy. And I was unfortunately I had two concerts that I was really looking forward to this semester for my Glee club, and those everything about Glee was canceled, and I was like, how am I gonna? That was my one part on my schedule that wasn't always all STEM. And as much as I love STEM, I definitely wanted to keep music in my life because I love to sing. And I was like, I can't have too much STEM or else I might go a little crazy. So, but that was my outlet, and I was like, how am I gonna, you know, keep myself occupied and focused with my classes, but I also don't want to overwhelm myself too much. And so, I take some time to, sing, like look at my Glee music and practice that. But I hope you all have something that's, rather it be Netflix or riding your bike or drawing or taking pictures. I hope you all have something that's keeping you a little sane during this time. I also want to stop and see if anybody has any more questions. Yeah, but it was definitely a crazy situation being on campus during it all. I know some of my friends at different universities, they were on spring break when all the schools decided to close. So they had to go back and get their stuff and completely move out and then come back home. I was lucky where I was on campus to pack my stuff and get ready to go. And my dad came, packed the whole car up, and then we left. Yeah, it was a sad situation. I was really looking forward to the semester. Um, there was no more basketball games. Oh, if any, Becky just released everybody off of mute. So if anybody has questions that they want to speak, I would feel free to ask them. So I just want to see where everybody is, whether you be junior year or senior year. I know looking at colleges, and especially if you're a senior right now, it's a hard adjustment, and I feel awful for all the seniors and I really hope you are doing well. But if anybody has any questions of like what to look for in colleges, or my advice to you is definitely reach out to people if there's certain colleges that you're looking at, because knowing how they like their college and their what were their challenges, what they love about it, can really help you understand what if a place is right for you. I know some of you might be juniors and the ACT was just pushed back, and that's really stressful. And I hope that I hope you know that it's going to be okay. I took my last ACT in, I want to say, September of my senior year, so you have time. So don't be too stressed out, or the SAT, ACT, SAT. Definitely, if you have any other questions, feel free to ask them about college or adjusting. I hope this. I hope that this hasn't been too hard on you, and you're still able to, do all your classes are going well, because it's a hard situation. I know last night I just had my chem exam and it was online, which was a little difficult because I had to basically write out the question again to understand it. And so it's really hard. And I know some people who are in all math classes, and it's definitely a really big adjustment. And it's weird not going into lectures every day and just being on campus. Because as I said, I really loved going to Michigan. I love the environment. There was always fun things to do, whether it be dorm activities where I had a dormal, which was a dance, or football games, basketball games. there's always activities on campus. So definitely one thing that I wish I did more of my first semester in college was being a little more involved in activities in my dorm, because a lot of people that I'm friends with now are in my dorm. And um, I don't know what schools you guys are looking for, but I'm sure every dorm will have certain activities. There's always game nights in my dorm, game nights, movie nights, dances. So always look out for those. And I know it's a hard adjustment, but it definitely gets easier. This semester has been a lot better for me. Um, Classes, right now I'm taking, like I said, chemistry, biology, and I love them. I really enjoy learning from those classes. And I also want to say one thing that some people always say, if you're majoring in something, whether it be chemistry or science or a math class or whatever you're planning on majoring in, that you can only focus on that. Don't listen to them fully, because if you love something and let's say you're going to the STEM field and you really love art, but your advisor saying, well, you have to take these types of classes. Don't feel like you have to give up art completely or whatever your hobby is. College is a really great experience that there seems like there's a lot of limitations, but you have to make, like I said, with the STEM Academy, you have to put in what you want to get out. So I would definitely say continue to do what you love. It's it's good for you. It's good for self-care. It's great. It definitely keeps your mind off of some of the stress of college. So don't narrow everything completely. Definitely branch out. Try new things too. College is filled with so many activities. And I know this last semester I tried Zumba and I loved it. It was not something I thought I would love, but I really enjoyed it and it was great. And it's those little things that you don't really necessarily know, but that you will love, but you have to try it. And I really hope that you enjoy, whether it be college or if you're still in high school, know that there's so many opportunities surrounding you, and take them as many as you can, because life is crazy as we see right now. It's I didn't see this coming, and I don't think a lot of people did. So definitely do what you love now and be passionate and give it your all. And I really wish you all the best. And I hope you all are you doing okay? I hope that you have some form of self-care and you're on top of your classes and everything's going well. And I hope all of you stay healthy and you stay safe, and that this will be over soon and we'll be able to go back to our normal lives again. But thank you all for listening to me and hearing my story and asking questions. I really loved your questions. They were awesome. I really hope I answered all of them. If you have any more, please feel free to either say them or put them in the chat box. I would be happy to answer them. But thank you so much for stopping by and listening, and I wish you all well.
Emma, Justine, can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you so much. That was so genuine, which I just loved. I mean, it was really you telling us all of that, and thank you, and thanks for letting yourself, tell us about some of the things that have been really challenging as well as the really exciting parts. And I think that your advice for everyone right now in this situation about, don't wait, right? If you're interested in something, explore it now, right? Step right in, because who knows what's going to happen, I think is so valuable, such a great reminder for us. So thank you for giving your time and fitting this in, and thank you to everybody who's tuned in. You are always welcome to send any questions to sort of Rebecca Lamb at Need, or to Jenna or to me. We're glad to hear from you. We're going to try to do some